Hi, this is Michael from Logic Hop, and in this video we're going to take a look at getting started with Logic Hop functionality. So what we see here is I've got a really basic WordPress install. I'm using the theme 2017, and I really don't have a lot of content here. I'm in the Pages section. I already have a home page, but let's go ahead and create a new page. I'm going to call this, just for simplicity, I'm going to call this Logic Hop Test, and I'm going to go ahead and publish that. This will give us a bit of an open playground space, so we can really come in here. I'm going to click View Page and just start to noodle with the Logic Hop functionality. You'll see in testing this page, very straightforward. I have the title of the page. Let's come back in and let's edit this. So first thing I want to do is we see I have the Logic Hop palette here, and then I also have the Logic Hop controls here. For the Logic Hop controls, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to enable page tracking for this. What that's going to do is that's going to make sure that that shows up in our insights, and it's also going to make sure that this page is accessible from our page menu. So go ahead and minimize this so that way we don't need to look at it anymore. And then I'm going to open up the Logic Hop palette. And in here, I've got conditions. And conditions are going to allow us to ask questions. So we're going to be able to evaluate these conditions and show content based on the response. So the condition I'm going to use, we've got some default conditions here, and a great one to use is user's first visit. So I go ahead and select that and I click Insert Conditional Shortcode. And you'll see that just gives us a WordPress shortcode. It's a two-part shortcode, one that's the opening section and one that's the closing section. So what this means is any content we put in here in between the brackets, so this is the starting bracket and the closing bracket, this content that appears within here will be displayed when this condition is met. And this condition is when this is the user's first visit to the site. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click an H2 or add an H2 tag, and I'm just going to put in here user's first visit. I'm going to close that H2 tag out. Now, this is a nice simple way and simple thing that we could do with calls to action, a really good way to kind of showcase the basic functionality. So in addition to this user's first visit, I want to have some other content to be able to show if it's not the user's first visit. So what I can do is, again, open up the Logic Hop palette here, and I'm in the conditions panel, and instead of choosing a conditional shortcode, I'm going to choose a conditional not shortcode. Now that may sound a little weird, but what we're going to do is say user's first visit. Well, didn't we just use that? So if the user's first visit, then we're going to display that H2 tag. Well, since we're using a not shortcode, and I click Insert Conditional Not Shortcode, what that's going to do is give us this block of code, and you'll see that it says a Logic Hop condition not. And what that means is if this condition is not met. So this is going to trigger, or this content, anything between these blocks, is going to display when this is not the user's first visit. So I'm going to just copy this H2 tag, and I'm going to paste that in here. So it says user's first visit, and I'm going to put in here not the user's first visit. So really that just gives us two distinct conditions, and the nice thing about testing these two conditions in this way is that these are the inverse of each other. So this condition is met, this is going to display. If this condition is not met, this is going to display. This is a great way to test the Logic Hop logic. So I'm going to click this here, go ahead and click Update, and let's look here. I'm going to reload, and let's see what happens. So here it says the user's first visit. Now let's take a look at this. And again, this is my first visit because it's the first time we're using this with Logic Hop. It's not going to retroactively pick up visits, but it's going to be the first visit going forward from this point. Another thing I've done here is, and you'll find this helpful when you're testing, is I've got another browser open. So typically open a browser that we can clear the cookies and clear the cache, because we want to be able to see these changes in action. You want to make sure that condition is met. Now, in order to see the second visit, if I reload the page, what happens? Well, it's still my first visit. And you're saying, well, wait, is this the first visit to the page? No, this is the first visit to the website entirely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to quit this browser. So that's actually going to clear that session out. And I'm going to open the browser back up. So I've started a new session, and then I'm going to go back to that, and let's see what happens. not the user's first visit. So we've seen those two conditions in action. One, when the condition is met that it is the user's first visit. Take a look at that here. And that's when this is met. And then when we quit the browser and reopen the page again, this is the second time, the second session when that user's visit is triggered, and it's not the user's first visit. So this is just a fun way to dive in and take a look at some Logic Hop functionality. A great way to use this is to use it for calls to action and just a quick sense. So I wanted to give you a glimpse at this. I hope this is helpful, and thanks again for trying Logic Hop.